Hey guys, so I started recording and for some reason it stopped, and it's a pain to figure out what I all said and where I should start and where I should end, so I'm just redoing it here. Yep, I've been MIA for a while. I was back in the hospital on the 21st, I think it was. For about 10 days actually. Before that, I was having shortness of breath and coughing. Sorry, there's a fly flying around. And I went into my hematologist because I just had not been feeling well. And he wanted me to get a stat CT angiogram, which was a CT of my chest to see if my blood clots had returned. I was still taking Eliquis at the time, which is a blood thinner that I've been taking since July when I first developed the blood clots. And I was coughing and I just felt like I couldn't get a good deep breath. So my insurance would not approve the stat CT, so I had to go through the emergency room, which that was a really hard time, right, Gabe? Really emotional. And Mom being in the car, and I was crying because I was afraid they were going to keep me. I guess they had done a CBC, complete blood count, so they knew my hemoglobin at the hematology office, so I knew I needed a blood transfusion. So I think my hemoglobin was like 6.6. And I was crying, just thinking, well, if I go to the ER, they're going to keep me for sure because they're going to see I have low hemoglobin, and I was a wreck. So I went in with not much, hoping I could just come home. And I had my backpack, my laptop, and that's about it, really. So, and my phone. So I went in, they did the CT scan, and sure enough, I had blood clots in my lungs again. 2 on my right side and 1 on my left. So they did have to keep me. They told me they needed to bridge me with Lovenox shots in my stomach, and then get me up to a level of with Coumadin, a new blood thinner, for the blood clots. So while I was in the hospital, they asked me if I wanted the flu shot, which I hadn't gotten it yet, but every time I went to an office, I kept being asked, so I was like, fine. I want to make this very clear that I have nothing against vaccines or the flu vaccine, but during this time of my health and not knowing what's going on, I've had random fevers. I've been kind of reluctant to get the vaccine, but I decided to do it, and there were some repercussions with it. I guess I don't have proof that it was the vaccine, but it really seemed like it to me. I'll just do it. I had that done, and within a few hours, I would say, of getting that, I came down with 102 fever. My right arm was hurting so bad, like more than a normal shot would. And I got really bad shakes ahead of, like, before that fever too. And then the next day I woke up and I had shortness of breath, like more than I had been. And the nurse kept telling me, oh, it's probably just the blood clots, they're breaking up, they can be painful, you can have shortness of breath, and had me sit in a chair saying I'd be more comfortable just getting up out of the hospital bed. So I sat there for a good hour and then fell asleep and woke up, and I had pain in my jaw on the right side that was going down into my chest and down my right arm. And so I told them about it, and I was like, the stabbing pain in my chest reminded me of when my lung had collapsed, but I hadn't had this jaw pain and this arm pain, so it was really weird, and it like went underneath my arm and in my back. And they were like, well, your O2 looks good, and your blood pressure's good, and your heart rate's good, and I'm like gasping for air. And so I felt like they weren't listening to me, and I called Chet, and he then called the nurse's station and was like, yeah, I don't think Anna's doing too well. And I guess they were like, well, how do you know that? And he's like, because she called me. And so, sorry, this is Wes sleeping with a toy over there. But, then the doctor finally came in. Oh yeah, well, I guess the nurse was like, well, her O2 looks good and you know all that. And he's like, well, she's an athlete. You can't go off of that. Reading, like it's gonna be different. And they came in with a chest x-ray and I had I had a pneumothorax. So I guess it was so bad at that point, they rushed me up to the ICU, put the chest tube in a different spot, like pretty much in my breast. And when they were feeling around, when the surgeon was feeling around where to put it, I seriously was like, oh, that's gonna hurt. Just because it's like right here in this muscle. The other one was like under my arm and the other one was right here. So they gave me, I thought they said ketamine. I don't know what it was, but it made me hallucinate. I was seeing colors and like 1 second I would be in this
world of wonder.
And then
La La Land.
yeah, it was La La Land. I thought I was in Legoland and I saw the squishy like ghost things that are in Pac-Man, except they were yellow. Maybe they are yellow in Pac-Man. Are they gay?
No.
Are they white? I don't know, but it was weird. And then the next second I would be in like normal. It would be normal, and then the next I'd be in this weirder like colors and
dreamy.
but I felt everything. I was yelling and then I'd apologize. I mean, it hurt so bad. This time it was way worse than the first time. It was horrible. And they talked about me needing some type of surgery that will burn between it'll burn my pleural cavity or something like that, the tissue between your lungs and your chest. I've never heard of it, but they said that it'll make my lungs adhere to my chest cavity or my chest wall, my lungs or my ribs kind of. And so if my chest collapses again, it won't, it'll be stuck. Which just makes me worry, and I was worried about swimming and if that would affect my swimming and my breathing. So yeah, Chet's coming down the stairs here, probably wondering who I'm talking to. Oh, he's gonna go shopping. What are you getting? So I'll make another video of my experience. It was awful, like awful. It's good I didn't have the camera. I didn't have anyone there this time. Chet couldn't come. We didn't have anyone to help with the kids, so it was just me, and it was really, really, really hard mentally and physically. I've never been through anything like it before. It was tough. I had to get up on a commode to go to the bathroom. I had someone
wipe me
because I couldn't move in my bed. They had to take a sheet and move me up and down in my bed. I still have really bad night sweats, so they would have to roll me one way, undo the sheets, roll me the other way, and put new sheets on. My right arm was so painful from that shot, and I think from the chest tube, I couldn't move my arm. That's about as much as I could move it. It was so painful. So that's what's been going on. I just had some blood work done because I needed to check, they call it your PTINR. It's your clotting level, I guess. So I had to get that done today, which they wanted it between a 2 and a 3, and mine's at 2.2. So I finally am at that level so far. So, sorry, crazy kids here. But, but then my white blood cell count is still low, neutrophils and lymphocytes are still low. No one's really explained what's going on with that. That's all been since September, along with my red blood cells. I haven't had an appetite. I've had the night sweats. This new CT they did, they found a hypodense either cyst or something in my liver, which is on the same side as that like adrenal tumor. But no one has really said anything to me about it. I mean, Chet had asked about it, and I don't know, they're kind of brushing it off, so who knows. But yeah, I still don't have really much of an appetite. I only eat once a day because that's all I can really handle. So I honestly like think to myself, okay, is this what I want to eat today? Because I just can't do much after that. Oh, so my blood results today showed an elevated LDH, which they're always looking for. I had it at the beginning of this when it all started, and my LDH was like 1500. This time around it's elevated. It's like 900. So it's just really confusing. I was really like being really positive because my red blood cell count is actually higher than it's ever been. It was like at 9 point something. I'm trying to keep this as short as possible because I had to go back to the ER the day after I got out of the hospital because my chest x-ray showed, the new one before I left the hospital showed I had a pneumothorax. But it must have resolved. It was really small, so maybe it was just a remaining. But when they checked my blood, it was like 9.3, my hemoglobin, and then today was 9.1. So I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, at least it's higher than it's been for me, because it honestly never gets to a 9 since June. But then it sucks because my LDH is elevated right now. So I don't know. I hope they can figure this out, because it's like I'm just like, I'm just done. I mean, that's how I feel. I felt like that in the hospital. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I don't know. So any of you out there watching this can figure this out, or thinks they know what's going on, and message me, because this I guess that's all. This is just an update for you guys. I'm hoping still I can do family vlogging. Gabe, Wesley, and I are actually gonna make a pumpkin pie right now. I got that all out. I got my pie crust and my Libby's, you know, the best. So, anyways, thanks for watching. Just a quick update. If I find out any more, I'll let you know. So, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you want.